fantasy people? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Jason, the lucky bastard Ethan Wolt, coming at you live from the West Coast. And this is the Fantasy Footballin' Show. Today's episode is the AFC South division. So we've been going through all the divisions, kind of going over their wants and needs, what we think they should do in the draft, what their, offensive and defensive lines look like, because that's really important to us right now. And today we are going over the AFC South, Jason. So that's like, Derrick Henry and who else, Jason?
Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, dude.
Jonathan Taylor, Dameon Pierce.
He's like going and still like in the third round of drafts right now. And that's like, I can't get myself to draft him. Nick Chubb is going like second round. And it's like, dude, anyways, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Before we get into all this, Jason, please tell the public how they can help this show.
Right. Want to let everyone know that I'm coming live from my mom's basement. I'm in my mom's basement doing this right now. And all y'all get, wait, hold on. Hey, Mom! Why don't you bring me some meatloaf? Bring me some meatloaf, Mom. I never know what she's doing back there. Some meatloaf. So if you guys can help me get out of my mother's basement and subscribe to the channel, you guys are doing so great. We appreciate all of you guys. We had a pretty big week this week when it comes to subscriptions, some views, and likes. If you can add to that with some more subscriptions after these videos, some more likes, even if leave some comments. We love the interactions, even the ones that think they're better than everybody. We love it all. We appreciate it. And you can also follow us on the Fantasy Footballin' Show on Instagram.
Yeah, and if we make fun of anybody in the NFL, guess what, dude? We know that they're better than us. We know that they make more money than us, and there's something that we will never hope or aspire to be. So we're just having fun here.
Also,
anyway,
just add to that. I mean, do people not realize this is the beer time breakdown?
I was just gonna say, Jason, I know that people think we're alcoholics, but it's Friday.
Yes, it's Friday.
This is my second tall can. 805. Sponsor this show.
Please. That'd be great. I actually just went to this shop or this liquor store around the corner, and they're locally owned. So he was asking me, he's like, you should try this beer. And then he was like, you know what? Because we're locally owned, if there's a beer here that we don't have, just let me know and I'll order it. And I was like, oh, this might just become my favorite place.
Ask him if you can get Spotted Cow, but I'm guarantee you can't get it because that's like stays in Wisconsin. If you're from Wisconsin, you know what I'm talking about. It's an amazing beer.
Oh, I asked for Johnny Utah. I was like, if you could get some Johnny Utah, please get some Johnny Utah.
I just know him as Keanu Reeves. But anyways, Jason.
Yeah.
Getting to the Jaguars. So Duval County, we do not want any beef with Duval County. We had a comment in that we're from California. We say Jaguars. I think it's like Jaguars. I don't know. We're gonna say Jaguars. Comment and please tell us how to say this.
Jaguars. Before we get into any of that, Tyler, I'm going to grill you with a question.
Oh.
So we are now here going to grill Tyler with the barbecue question of the week. And this question comes from yours truly, me, because we didn't have any questions this week. I thought it was a pretty good question that needs to be answered, and the people want to know, and I want to know. So, who has the potential to have the best bounce back year in the NFC? Who had a not so good year last year, but has the potential to have a better year this upcoming year?
Yeah, so like my first thought was the Saints, because they got Derek Carr and I don't know. Olave's going to be in the second year. They have a really good defense, good offensive line usually. So I was thinking about them, and then I saw that the Rams were 5-12 last year. So I immediately thought, they traded away Jalen Ramsey for a first round pick, I'm pretty sure. And I checked their free agency. The only person they signed offensively was or got from a different team offensively was some like tight end. He's probably a blocking tight end. He barely played for Miami. But with these draft picks, I've heard that Sean McVay gets all the power this off season, and is going to go heavy offense. He wants to be an offensive powerhouse again. So I believe that in Sean McVay and that team, I mean, they need to figure out the offensive line, number one, but Matthew Stafford's coming back from injury. And yeah, I think that they have the biggest potential for like, plus minus as far as they did last season to this season. They were like 1-7 on the road last season. And yeah, they're going against the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks twice a season, but they also get the Cardinals twice a season. So I do believe in the Rams next season, I think.
You got to win on the road. Eli Manning could tell you that. Okay. Is there a little side question here? Is there a um player, an individual player that you feel like has a potential to have a bounce back year this year?
Well, that's my thing is like the driving force behind all of this is Matthew Stafford because he even said he's coming back. People were talking about him retiring, and so knowing that Sean McVay is like heavily like just wants to have like an elite offense again, and with Matthew Stafford coming back, Cooper Kupp coming back healthy, I do believe like that Matthew Stafford is going to have the bounce back season.
Yeah, I didn't even think about him. I mean, there's for how the Rams were last year, how he was last year. He didn't even finish the year. They had to bring in Baker Mayfield. He has nowhere to go but up. He has nowhere to go but up. So, with Sean McVay being the young genius that he is, I think there's good potential with Matthew Stafford bouncing back.
Yeah, and like I mean, I'm interested to see what they're going to spend that first round pick on that they got for Jalen Ramsey.
Um, One person I think Tyler that could add to this is David Montgomery, because last year where he got drafted, he did not play as what people expected him to play. Or the previous year, he did pretty dang well. Now that he's going to be on that Detroit Lions team behind that offensive line, taking up the Jamal Williams role, I think we're going to see a lot more touchdowns through him with him this year, and he could have like a bounce back year this year, I believe.
Well, I mean, what, dude? How many touchdowns did Jamal Williams have last year? I think like 17. I don't know, he broke the record for the Lions.
17.
And so there's 17 touchdowns to make up on this team, and David Montgomery's there. So yeah, I think that you're correct. Like fantasy wise, as an individual player, that played almost all last season. David Montgomery probably is a really smart pick.
Yeah, because they're not going to use Swift.
Dude, and Swift is going like ahead of Chubb right now, pretty much. And I just don't understand that.
I don't understand it either. It's because there's people out there who just believe in Swift, and the thing is, he's very athletic. He's a good runner. He just cannot stay healthy, and the Detroit Lions know this, and they don't give him the ball as much as he probably should or can or need to be that player that everybody wants him to be. Right, top 12 running back.
Okay, Jason. Mama said, Mama said, we're going to get into the most important thing for me on the Jaguars. I think this is a huge loss for them. Are you ready to talk about the Jaguars?
Yeah, I'm ready. This is rock and roll.
Dude, no. It went to the Chiefs. Jawan Taylor, right tackle, played 97% of snaps. He's making $20 million a year now. So, like, he had an amazing season for Doug Peterson, protecting, Trevor Lawrence. He got paid, dude. So, 26-year-old right tackle for the Chiefs now. This makes me want Patrick Mahomes even more. And I still believe in Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is going in the 7th round right now. Burrow is like 4th or 5th. So it's like, and then Herbert is probably 6th, I think, right now. So I don't know, dude. I still believe in Trevor Lawrence, even though he lost this guy.
Yeah, I believe in him too. The Chiefs were they were willing to get rid of Orlando Brown Jr. just because they were able to pick up somebody like Jawan Taylor, and being the right tackle for Jacksonville, they're going to have to definitely find someone to replace him. Did they find? Well, I mean, yeah, they kind of did. But with that offensive line last year, Jacksonville was 14th in the league with 125 rushing yards per game, which is middle of the pack. Him opening up blocking lanes, Jawan Taylor, he's going to be missed. With that being said, Tyler, they also picked up right tackle Josh Wells, 32 from the Buccaneers. I mean, I don't think that's going to be an improvement at all, but at least they got somebody, a big body there right now.
Yeah, he was a left tackle for the Buccaneers, and the right tackle was that amazing young dude. I can't remember his name right now. He got drafted the first season that Tom Brady was there. Gosh, Tristan Wirfs. I was thinking Wells, Wirfs. But still, dude. I mean, coming from the Buccaneers, they had a decent offensive line because they were with Tom Brady, even though Tom Brady was kind of running for his life last season. Also, Jason, they picked up Dearness Johnson, who was that I think he was in the AF, or what's that dude? Not the Arena Football League.
XFL.
Was he in the XFL or the Secondary Football League? I can't remember what that one is called. And dude, when he had his chances in Cleveland, he killed it. And now he gets to go to the Jaguars. With behind the kind of frail. I mean, he kind of proved us wrong last season, but I mean, he's not really built for an every down back. Travis Etienne.
Yeah, we also said it earlier in free agency, like the Jaguars, Duval County, they are trying to pick up everybody, like all the running backs, right? What'd
Yeah,
you
he's like,
say?
I'm gonna get 6 running backs. Is what Doug Peterson said, that was like 3 months ago.
Yeah. Dearness Johnson, he's a pass catching running back. He's got some speed on him too, so they're going to add more depth to that running back depth chart. I guess just in case Travis Etienne does get hurt, they're going to have some extra playing. Maybe they're going to do a little bit of a community.
And they also, re-signed Jermichael Hasty, so there's 3 running backs right there.
Mm-hmm. And maybe being in the middle of the pack, they want to run the ball more. Doing 125 rushing yards a game, maybe they're trying to improve on that some.
And then Jason, there's 2 other big ones. Marvin Jones re-signed with the Lions, where he came from. I
Yeah.
think he could be a potential, like, Jameson Williams. Like, I was really hoping for him to get some touchdowns. It's not really going to fill that role, but like, dude, it's going to take away some. But they need him with Amon-Ra St. Brown being double teamed so much. They could I don't think DJ Shark went somewhere else. So
Carolina.
yeah, that's right. So Marvin Jones is going to fill that, like, the one touchdown, where he's Amon-Ra's in the slot. Then Jason, Evan Ingram. I know that we were heavy on Evan Ingram preseason last season. 29 years old, making 11 million bucks.
Yeah. I think when his contract's up, he's probably going to be making a little bit more too. He said $11 million, and Dalton Schultz got signed for 1 year, $9 million. I think Ingram might
Dalton Schultz is like 26 or something like that.
be. Yeah, he's still pretty young. We'll get in that too. But um, did they just sign Ingram to a 1 year deal, or did they do a multi-year contract?
They franchised him, so just one season.
That's right. That's right.
But Jason, would you like? Are you going to try to get like a tight end like super early, or could you wait for an Evan Ingram type?
I'm going to have to wait because those tight ends are going to be gone early, and I already have like my first 3 rounds picked: wide receiver, quarterback, running back. So I'm going to wait a little bit. Definitely get Ingram over Dalton Schultz just because.
I was going to say, dude, him and Dalton Schultz are kind of going to the same place. I think Dalton Schultz might be even going before a little bit.
Well, then it comes down to who's. I always try to pick players on a team on winning teams, and I think Jacksonville is probably going to win the division again, where the Texans are possibly going to have the number 1 pick again, back-to-back years. So, I think I'd rather have Ingram.
And then, all right, moving towards defense, Jason. They lost. They have not re-signed. He's just a whatever free agent. Shaquille Griffin. He's only 28 years old, dude. But I think he's been injured a lot because he's making $13 million a year and he only played 29% of snaps. So if you're making that much, you're expected to play 80+% of snaps. He must have been injured. I haven't really checked, and nobody's signed him. So I'm guessing that something's going on there.
Yeah, it's hard to sign people when you were injured for most of the year. But that's one cornerback gone. They were able to re-sign Trey Herndon. Trey Herndon, 27 years old. They're able to re-sign him, keep on one side of the field. And it looked like they were more attacking, like or more going after like the defensive line than the secondary. Because
Roy Robertson Harris.
Yeah.
We call them RRH around in the building over here in
RRH.
Duval.
That guy is crazy. Uh, and Duval, did you say? Yeah. What they got here? They also have like Adam got sis. Hey man, I'm single. You got sis? No.
That's not that's we're like, is this a pimple on my face or is it a guts? No, that's terrible too.
I don't know. But they
I
did pick.
got to have me some chicken nuggets.
Oh, yeah.
You're pushing this Gotsis stuff, man. I'm
And
just
then
trying to
they
make it
got Michael Dogby, defensive end, 26 from Arizona. Um, and then they got Henry, defensive end, 27 from Giants. Henry Mondu, Mondro.
yeah, it's like Mondo or something like that. So
Oh, Mondo, dude. I'm Mondo.
I mean, yeah, a couple of edge rushers. They got one from the Titans, 27-year-old Arden Key. He must have been pretty good. I mean, any linebacker or edge rusher from God, dude, why can't I think of his name? Who's the head coach of there?
For who?
He's the Titans. Variable. Thank you.
Mike Variable.
Yeah,
You
Mike
said
Variable.
it. I'm like, who are you talking about?
So any linebacker from there, dude, he's going to be smart and like know what he's doing. So, it's making $7 million a year, 40% of snaps for the Titans. I mean, I didn't really hear of him much, but I bet you he's a decent pass rusher.
Well, they got to get the pass rushing down because they are 26 in the league, only getting 2 a game. So they are in the bottom half of it. Looks like they're really going to focus on the defensive ends, the tackles, that defensive line. They got to get to the quarterback. This team was used to rack up sacks daily, dude.
Jacksonville.
Remember that? In Duval County, Jacksonville. And then
Duval, are you with me?
you with me. Yeah, but they are kind of slowed down there a little bit. They do have a star in Josh Allen, right? Don't they have that linebacker? I like him. And then they had one of the best tacklers in the league, and I believe he was a safety. The dude was crazy, but they need to get to the quarterback. They got to put pressure on the quarterback. Only getting 2 a game, and in the bottom half of the league in sacks per game, you're gonna have to focus on that defensive line.
So, Jason, moving forward to the beat writers on blackandteal.com. That's what we bleed in Duval County. Black and teal. So, anyways, they say that if they re-sign Evan Ingram, then tight end would no longer be their number one need. So they think that tight end is their number one need, even though Evan Ingram just kind of killed it for him. But they know how tight ends are in Doug Peterson's system. I talked about it before last season. That's why I liked Evan Ingram. Dude, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, man, like these guys, Doug Peterson likes them some tight ends. And then also, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, so all they did was franchise tag him, Jason. So they want them to get like Michael Meyer or Musgrave or something like that. Anyways, I think there's a couple top, they've got like number 28, pick 28. I think that's what it was. I read it earlier. And that's what they want to spend that early pick on.
Interesting. I wonder if they're doing that because Ingram is what'd you say, 29 years old, so he's about to be 30. I don't know, man. Tight ends, you could kind of be there a while as a tight end. I mean, look at Gonzalez, Kelsey, Witten. Maybe they're just trying to get already just think of the future, right? They'll have a guy sit behind Ingram, and by year 2, year 3, they could probably put him out as starter, maybe trade away Ingram.
Yeah, that's true. And so, anyways, Jason, the next one. Sorry about that.
You're fine.
So they want them to wait until the second or third round to take a cornerback. So they want them to take a tight end early, try to get a cornerback late. Cornerback is their number 2 need. And if you watch this team, dude, it's like offense is not a problem here. So build up the Jacksonville defense, get a Jalen Ramsey, like 2.0 minus, a couple points, and get yourself some pass rushing, dude. and let Trevor Lawrence, hopefully, within his rookie contract deal within the first 5 years, do something with his life. He's got 3 more years left, but if he plays like this, he's going to get paid in his 5th year. So he's got these are his glory years right now. 2 more years of these glory years for the Saxonvilles.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember, wasn't that long ago that Jalen Ramsey was a Jacksonville Jaguar.
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 Wow.
Jaguar.
Well,
And he became famous. He became a stud with Jacksonville, right? He's no longer there. Last year, Jacksonville was 27th in the league, giving up 238 passing yards a game. So, maybe they're just if the beat writers are saying that, I guess it makes sense because they are giving up a lot of passing yards. So, with the re-signing of Evan Ingram, their tight end, offensive side looks like they're pretty much content with what they have, which they should. Their offense was pretty good last year. Plus, remember Tyler, they're getting Calvin Ridley back. They're getting Calvin Ridley,
dude.
For this
I've drafted him every single time I play. You could draft Calvin Ridley and Trevor Lawrence, and for it's gonna be one of my stacks that won't kill your team or whatever I'm trying to say. Check out my stacks from last season when we first started the show. They were actually pretty good. So, and Trevor Lawrence, Evan Ingram was my number 1, and Calvin Ridley and him is probably gonna be my number 1 this year.
So, it looks like they are going to focus more on the defensive side because they're in the bottom half of rushing sacks per game and passing yards. So they'll target.
Jason, I do want to say that they have the 24th overall pick, and Musgrave is the tight end they want, and he is from Oregon State University. So he was a fellow Beaver of mine. We're Beaver believers here. I went to one game. The only Beaver game I went to while I was there was one where I watched Andrew Luck. I watched Andrew Luck kill us, and I just wanted to watch him, and that was amazing.
Oh, you're so lucky. I wish I could have gone to a USC game. But I always tell people, I'm like, you know what? If I had a second team, it would be the Oregon State Beavers because my best friend went there.
Plus, you don't want to be one of those fools that, dude, those O's are everywhere, man. I mean, Oregon University is up. It's I don't know. It's super, trendy. Oh, man. You don't want to be trendy. You want to be an individual. You want to like the Beavers. You want to be able to Beaver believer on your license plate.
Know yourself. Know yourself.
All right, guys. So anyways, I think that's it. Oh, never mind. Third thing, Jason, pass rusher. We talked about Saxonville. So they want to get their cornerback. They want to get their tight end, and they want to get some pass rushing here. So it's, mostly defense with this Doug Peterson fixing the offense.
Yeah, this is stuff we already talked about. Trying to get back to the old ways of Saxonville and having a good defense. They can't seem to level out. They can't seem to have a good offense and a good defense. It's one or the other.
All right. So when we come back, we will be talking about who was second place in the league last season, Jason. I know
the
Titans. The Titans, because they played Jacksonville. That was a playoff game, the last game of the season. So we're going to come back. We're going to talk about maybe, Derrick Henry trade rumors going to Jason's favorite team. Who knows? And, other things, like flat tops and badass coaches. So we'll talk to you in a second. BRB.
BRB.
Okay. What's up, people? If you subscribe, we might be able to buy Jason a new computer or internet or whatever's going on here. But hey, enough of that. AFC South, we're talking that. And if you're from, if you're around 37 years old, you might remember this team that transcended sports and race and politics. Remember the Titans, because that's who we're talking about now.
Remember the Titans.
We are the Titans.
Strong side.
Weak side.
Wrong side.
Anyways.
What are you talking about? That's my brother. Can't you see we're related?
Oh, hey, that was good. I forgot about that. Only family in here.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jason, talking Titans, I was a Derrick Henry owner last season, so I kind of paid attention to them. I did pay attention how they let Taylor Lewan go, but he was so injured last year, he barely played. And they got rid of some other stalwart of God, man, some like constant in their offensive line as well. Forget who it was. But
Well,
yeah, so they're having like this is kind of a turnaround for them. Jason, what stands out to you on this list?
so you, Tyler, because you always talk about the crappiness of this offensive line. So I was like, I gotta look at this offensive line. I mean, if you watch any Tennessee Titans game last year, like their offensive line was crap. Wasn't the greatest. But you have King Henry running behind that line. He's got to do a lot of work. They still ended up being 13 in the league, averaging 125.4 yards per game. But with that being said, their offensive line was subpar. Nate Davis, he's gone. Their guard went to Chicago. And then we have Andre Dillard, 27. They got him from the Eagles. They got a tackle, Daniel Brunskill. Remember Brunskill from Hogwarts? 29 from the 49ers. And then tackle Dennis DeLay, 26. He went to the Cardinals, but they were able to re-sign center Corey Levin, 28. They re-signed him. The one thing I'm seeing right now is like, yes, they did not have the best offensive line, but now they have so many changes in that offensive line. It might take, mid-season before they start building that chemistry and start working together. Because chemistry is important, especially in the offensive line. That they're going to have to really mesh and go out for dinners and play laser tag just to bond well and stuff like that. So we might not see this offensive line if it does improve until like around mid-season next year.
I'd like to see a one of those laser tag vests on these dudes.
It'll look like a sports brawl.
I was thinking it looked like a compact mirror, like it'd be so small on these people's body, it'd be insane. But Jason, I mean, you're the size of an offensive lineman.
I left Tennessee.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So I am interested in Andre Dillard because I mean, dude, the Eagles had the number one offensive line last season. They picked this dude up. He only played 3% of snaps, but he's 28 years old, and now they're paying him pretty much $10 million a year for X amount of years. But still, dude, I'd like to go back and watch some tape on that Dillard guy. But if I had to imagine, I wouldn't think that he's bad. He's probably better than any starter they had last season. So I think that's a good start. But if they're actually going to keep Derrick Henry, they need to like do him a favor and get a halfway decent, get a mid at least like a 15th ranked, 16th ranked offensive line in front of him.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to go off of that too a little bit. Tyler, you said there was rumors that he might go to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
Elaborate. Elaborate, please.
So I heard rumors that he might go to the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh man.
No, like I'm pretty sure it was on the Rich Eisen show because dude, what's his name on there? God, man, I can't think of. He's like I like Rich Eisen and one other dude, and this is the one guy I like. I can't remember his name. I like Del Tufo too. TJ Jefferson. He's a huge Cowboys fan, and that was a big subject. Was all these rumors of Derrick Henry going to the Cowboys? And I was thinking, I mean, yeah, I looked it up. Tony Pollard's going like maybe in fourth round of fantasy drafts, third or fourth, I think fourth round, and I am drafting him because he's going to be one of the highest risers in the draft when his health gets proven. But right now he is supposed to be there for everything all the offseason things, So Tony Pollard will be there, but he's not built like an every down back. They just got done paying Ezekiel Elliott. I can't see them wanting to pay another veteran running back. So I could see them drafting a young running back to pair with Pollard, but I do not see them actually trading for Derrick Henry.
I can't see that either. You said it right. They paid Ezekiel Elliott, and then look what happened to that. His production went down. Then they ended up letting Ezekiel Elliott go. And then Derrick Henry, he's how old, man? That dude's like 28, 29. So he gets the ball so much in Tennessee. You know, he's got some mileage on those hips, and those legs.
Those hips don't lie, and they are high mileage.
Yep. I can't see that happening. If anything, I see the Cowboys going after a running back, and I can see them. You know, there's rumors that Bijan, they might target him, or they might get the guy from UCLA, Zach Charbonnet. If those two went there, I think that would be good for Tony Pollard. But as of right now, Derrick Henry is still with the Tennessee Titans. And it looks like, for most part, what do you think, Tyler? Tennessee is more kind of like out of any chance to win the division and maybe kind of in a rebuild?
Well, Cam Newton, so that he wouldn't mind backing up Malik Willis. Ryan Tannehill's like 37 or 36. He's older than I thought. And Malik Willis is not going to be ready anytime soon. I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to ever be anything. But, I mean, he could prove us wrong like a Jalen Hurts, because that's the type of person that he would have to turn into. But still, yeah, like, I don't think they're quite in rebuild right now because they've got Mike Vrabel, and as long as Mike Vrabel's there, they're going to try to win. I think they're a fringe playoff team. I think there's only a couple fantasy players that you want to get from them. You know, Trey Burks, I would love to have with Ryan Tannehill healthy and him entering his second year. I picked him up off of waivers last season, or maybe I don't even remember. I might have drafted him. I can't remember. But whenever I played him, man, he actually played well. And I could see them drafting a second wide receiver this season too. I've heard a lot about that. So I do not think it's a total rebuild year. I think they're kind of one of these teams in limbo all the time. I think they're kind of like in purgatory, NFL purgatory, on the fringe, like a fringe playoff team.
Yeah,
but not bad enough to get like some game breaker.
Right. Well, so technically they have Ryan Tannehill. They have Burks as a wide receiver. They have Derrick Henry as a running back. Their offensive line was kind of shady last year. You know, they were 27th in league, giving up 2.9 sacks per game. And Tyler, they may have themselves a true tight end because they just lost Austin Hooper. He went to the Las Vegas Raiders.
So that was like one of my main things too when I was looking at this list was Austin Hooper's gone. I think that Trey Burks is going to be a breakout. We can talk about that later, but we're not. We're going to talk about that right now. I think that Trey Burks is going to be like a number 2 wide receiver for your team. Honestly,
yeah.
Like if you really want to wait for wide receivers, which I do not advocate, if I get Trey Burks, he's going to be my 3rd or 4th wide receiver. But I'm going to try to get him. And also with Okonkwo, I think his name was Jason.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar?
Yep, that's him.
I remember saying his name like 18 times on waiver wire shows. So.
I can't even say his name, so that sounds like a name I can't pronounce. That's probably it.
I'd try my best, but I wish we were super popular so we can get him on so we know how to pronounce his name correctly.
Yeah.
We'd pay you, man, in 805, so you get 3 tall kings if you come on the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's $8.99 at a certain place. I won't tell you.
Oh. Wait, $8.99 for a tall can?
3 tall cans, man. It's a pack.
Oh, okay. I was like, man, you need to leave Rite Aid, dude.
Dude, Rite Aid. Can't tell you much free liquor I've drank from Rite Aid, right, Jason?
Yeah.
Let's just say we're living up in the sky with Diet Coke and vodka.
GLA.
Hey.
Oh.
R-U-S. That's how you feel when you're drinking free liquor, man. You're just like, nervous.
Some Sky vodka and Diet Pepsi, man. Up in the sky.
I hate Diet Coke, but man, drinking that with liquor like takes the liquor taste away.
We trained ourselves to like it. It's disgusting, but we trained ourselves. Anyway, Tyler, so what do you think with Abukagaka? Like, when would you be able to probably pick him up?
Okonkwo?
Yeah, him too.
It's going to be way later than Evan Ingram. It's going to be super late. So, like, I think that he is a good target to have. I think it might be his 3rd year in the NFL anyways, which is the breakout year for tight ends. So, I believe in Okonkwo, and I would not mind having him as my tight end if I choose on waiting till the very end for tight ends. But I would much rather have Evan Ingram or Dallas Goedert if I can get Dallas Goedert.
Wasn't he a rookie last year?
Dude,
I think he
I
might
think
be in his second year.
you're right. So that's kind of crazy. That's why I don't trust this. It's like I need to see more from a tight end than just his rookie year. Unless you're Rob Gronkowski, like I predicted he had 10 touchdowns his rookie year and he had 10 touchdowns. I don't know. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And I
That's
drafted
when
him.
I started thinking maybe in 10 years we should start a podcast.
We should get Tyler because Tyler doesn't know Oh man, I was just gonna say the S word.
Naughty, naughty. Um, yeah. Last year he's a rookie, so this is the second year, Tyler.
Damn, dude, that's pretty crazy. Because as much as I heard about him, I figured it was the second year. So
I think he has a good chance to be very consistent this year. I think he was one of the fastest tight ends, if not the fastest tight end of his draft class, and he already showed some production this year. Kind of worried about the quarterback situation and being on a run first defense or offense, but I think there is a possibility that this guy could be a sleeper and have a breakout season.
and I compared him to Njoku, and that's not just because he has an African last name, it's because they're like shorter. It's almost like a Vernon Davis type, They're like huge. They're buff, man. They're like, I wish I was like built like this. But they're not like the huge lanky guys. It's kind of like these more compact, thick dudes. And Njoku has proven that he's a top tight end. So this guy's kind of in that mold.
Yeah. Are you I'm okay with going to the defensive side now?
Yeah, and so and also they lost Robert Woods. I thought that was a big deal.
I mean, yeah.
Dude, Robert Woods was such a big signing for them like 2 years ago. It was crazy. Yeah. So just Trey Burks, play that up, dude. Trey Burks.
Yeah, he was a big signing. And then he didn't do anything big in his time there, really.
He was injured. He was doing really well, then he got injured, and then he just never came back from it.
Oh man, where did he go? He went to the Texans, I believe.
Yeah, and that's not going to be good because Davis Mills. I mean, he's going to fill. Oh, guess what, dude? He's going to fill out the Brandon Cooks role. Ho! That means you don't draft him.
Yeah, right. You're not getting that jabroni.
So, Jason, they lost their tight end, Austin Hooper. You talked. Oh, never mind. We're talking defense.
Yeah,
they signed Bud Dupree, dude. $16 million. So you're giving. I've heard so many interviews about this dude from fellow linebackers, or I think it was like Devin Bush giving an interview about Bud Dupree or something like that. Bud Dupree is like a badass. So I know he's 30 years old, dude, but he's going to be like it says he's an edge rusher. He's got like 2 or 3 more good years left. And now he's going to play for Mike Vrabel, who knows how to utilize everything about him.
Yeah. I like Bud Dupree. Tyler, another question. Who had the number 1 rushing defense last year?
It was the Titans because I just rewatched our video.
Yes. Awesome. Yeah. The Tennessee Titans, they only gave up 76 rushing yards a game. So they were very stingy to running backs in the fantasy aspect. Mike Vrabel, that guy, he wants to he likes the defense. He's a defensive guy. In this free agency right now, that they did get some players. They got Arden Key, outside linebacker, 26 years old, from Jacksonville. They lost DeMarcus Walker. Or no, they got DeMarcus Walker, 28, from the Bears. They got David Long went to linebacker. David Long went to the Dolphins. Linebacker Aziz Shahir, 26, from the 49ers. And then, this is kind of a nobody. I just put him on here because he used to play for the Cowboys. But linebacker Luke Gifford, 27, from the Cowboys. So you can see he's doing a lot of targeting and still trying to get that linebackers. Linebackers will go out there and just like fill those gaps when those running backs are trying to get through. So he's really, and Bud Dupree, he's another outside linebacker. He's still trying to focus on stopping that run. If you could get players to stop that run, all you got to do is worry about the passing. You stop the run, worry about the passing.
And the Titans, dude, like they're the type of team that like you don't want to play late in the season going into playoffs. And so they're all down for the cold weather, snow games and everything because odds are they're going to be stopping the run and let their back end try to take care of the work. Even though I can't remember since Pac-Man Jones, I can't think of anybody on their back end that I could even care about.
Finnegan?
Oh, dude, Cortland Finnegan, you're right.
Yeah.
That guy fought what's his name every time he saw him.
Andre Johnson?
Dude.
Yeah.
Andre Johnson's like, God,
Right.
so much bigger than him, and Cortland Finnegan didn't care.
3 times the size. Yeah.
Yeah, and he acted, and that's how the fights went down too. But Cortland Finnegan still didn't care. Shout
Yeah.
out to Patrick Trammell, man. Do you get that, Jason?
Yeah.
Like
That's
him and Anthony Goodwin, dude. It doesn't matter who you are. I don't care if you're 3 times my size. I will fight you and I will lose. I don't care. It's the way it goes, man.
Yeah. Before we go on the beat writers, Tyler, I don't know if there's anything else you need to talk about the defense, but the Tennessee Titans, they were number 1 in rushing defense. Tyler, do you know who was last in passing defense?
Probably the Titans. No. Was it the Titans?
Yeah, the Tennessee Titans were last in passing defense. They gave up 274 yards per game. So they could stop the run, but now they got to focus on players on trying to. I was hoping maybe they were like maybe in the mid when it came to the passing defense, but no, they're at the bottom. So they have one thing under control, getting those linebackers. Could really try to help with that. You said it, Tyler. Now they need to get some cornerbacks, some safeties to help with that passing because you could be number 1 in something, but if you're last place in the other thing, don't matter. We'll just pass all over you. We won't run the ball. We'll just pass.
So, Jason, what do you think the Titans' number 1 offensive need is?
Offensive need?
Off-season needs.
It's get cornerbacks. What?
You would think. Offensive line, Jason. So we talked about this.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tyler. Ask me that question again because you're right. We've been talking about it for like a month. We've been talking about it for a month. Yeah, okay.
Jason, what is the Titans' number 1 off-season need?
Probably their offensive line.
Oh my God, you're right. So yeah, dude, they're gonna have to replace up to 4 spots on this offensive line. And then we talked about center Ben Jones. He's young, but he has not been re-signed. He had a season up in the air after he suffered multiple concussions last season. So like he was almost in that Tua Tagovailoa category. So that's why he has not been re-signed, and he plays offensive line. So it's not like something that you can avoid, hopefully. So yeah, dude, as far as beat writers for the Titans are concerned, they need some more help on that O-line, which is understandable.
They need some big bodies.
And then Jason, number 2. We know who they drafted last season. We know who they lost this offseason. What do you think?
Who did they draft last season? Oh, quarterback.
Nope.
Right.
Like
who they drafted last
Traylon Burks.
Wide receiver.
So yeah, dude.
Speaking of that, Tyler, before that, too, they also lost their other wide receiver, Nick Westbrook. The guy who had like one big game and everyone's like, oh my God.
He's fast and he caught some I can't remember, but he ran for a long touchdown.
He is pretty fast. Yeah, so they also lost him too. Yeah, Nick Westbrook. Never mind. He resigned. So I am going to edit that part out and be like, okay, so they lost Robert Woods and they lost Austin Hooper. So they need a wide receiver? Okay.
Did you watch me throw that beer can against the wall?
Yeah, that was hardcore.
We're in my garage now, baby.
Yeah.
My wife
goes.
My wife has no control around here.
Get her out, man. No control.
Woo! This is my house.
Yeah.
This is my house.
This is my section of the house. This is my section of the house. You're in a garage. I'm in a basement at my mother's. Mom, where's that meatloaf?
I could do whatever I want, man. Anyways.
Okay.
Moving forward. Jason.
Yeah.
So they need offensive line, they need wide receiver, and they need quarterback. So it's all offense, dude. They say that they need Malik Willis is not the answer. This is what the beat writers are saying. Which I want to do not. I don't want to give Malik Willis like any crap after, it's all about your mindset. Like, give him another year. If he gets better this year, maybe give him a chance. So, like, just that Jalen Hurts mentality. Like, you got to give these dudes a time. Like, even if they're not a good quarterback, if they're more of like a running quarterback and they can't throw or whatever, because of Jalen Hurts, I would literally give Malik Willis another year.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. It's just 1 year. He doesn't look ready, but how many times have we seen it where it's just like a rookie quarterback? It could just not a good enough system for him. Who's he also throwing the ball to during that time? It's not like they have these stud wide receivers. I don't think Traylon Burks was back at that time. Maybe he was. Maybe he was just getting started. You have Robert Woods, the guy who tore his ACL, then got a contract while he's all old. USC Trojans, baby. But still, I mean, you still got to give the guy a chance. Now, Ryan Tannehill, you're telling me this guy is almost 40 years old collecting health insurance. Like, I think in that direction, maybe. Guy can't stay healthy. But I'm actually surprised that they are not doing nothing with the cornerbacks after what we just said, that they're last in their division. I mean, they got Sean Bunting from Tampa Bay, who's 25. I don't know who that character is. But they also lost one of their cornerbacks, Lonnie Johnson, to the Saints, who's also 25. So they're not really doing a lot on the secondary. So this is kind of surprising to me. So.
And then Jason, after that, the beat writers, they give the top 5. And so they go immediately right into linebacker, but we see that was addressed in the offseason.
Yeah.
And we already talked about that. So I do want to hit that. So at least, and outside linebacker. So those were their top 5. And we talked about how they invested some cashish, some serious cashish. Where's the hashish? The cashish? It's in the linebackers' pockets.
Yeah, it's not on mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason just played. You should ask Jason about H&R Block and how he feels about him.
Oh, that's a whole nother episode.
You're supposed to get money back for taxes, man. You're supposed to get money back. That's not how we're supposed to work.
Why am I paying H&R Block who tells me I owe the government money? I can tell you that. I don't need you.
All these fat cats in Washington need to put more money in my pocket.
Yeah, for real, man. I wrote my name on one of the dollar bills, and if I ever see it getting handed to me, I'm going to punch the guy in the face. Like, this belonged to me, and you took it. You government.
What the hell? Ooh. Well, this is my dog. This was like a guy's like, you pay for something and he gives you change. This was mine.
This is the money I gave to the government. You're a part of it.
All right, guys. Anyways, when we come back, we'll be talking about like the most disappointing team, probably. I mean, if you expected, I expected I did not, the Jaguars were the surprise team. The Titans were like the perennial team in this division, so it was no surprise about the Titans. If you're paying attention to football, it was not that big of a surprise for the Jaguars. I think it was Jaguars. It was a kind of a toss-up between the two, which you see how that season went. It was, but now I think that the Jaguars are like up and ascending, like they're going to establish themselves as the head of the division, and then the Titans, and then Jason, our next team. The Colts. I think regardless, even if they draft correctly, they're going to be third in this division regardless.
I can maybe argue with that.
Jason, argue with that when we come back. Are you good with that?
Yes, I'm okay with that.
He's okay with that. That means he's not. He's upset with me. We'll catch you on the flip side. Okay. Beer number 5-6. Let's get into this. If you like drinking and talking football, you don't even have to drink, dude. But if you like talking football, just hang with us. Because we're talking football for a long time.
Yeah.
So we are going over the Colts, the Indianapolis Colts. Jason, they were a huge disappointment last season, 2022. Jonathan
Up
Taylor,
you against the wall, biatch.
dude. People, I had Damian Pierce. That's funny that you said that. I had Damian Pierce, and people were offering me Jonathan Taylor for him, and I was like, "Oh my god, what do I do?" I'm like, "Oh man, I'm keeping John. I love Damian Pierce, man. I love his attitude." Well, I should have traded for Jonathan Taylor, but still, dude. Their offensive line was like nothing like it was. Their defense was not great. Their offense was terrible. It's just like, dude, the Colts have nowhere to go but up.
Yeah. So the season. Let me take you back to season 2000 or two. Oh my gosh. Let me take you back 2 seasons ago in 2021. There was a young kid named Jason Uthenwald who had, I want to say he had the last pick. I think he had the number 10th pick because he won in the league, right? And he went into the draft and he's like, you know what? I am going to pick the running back that has the best offensive line, or one of the best offensive lines, right? And I went and I got this guy named Jonathan Taylor Thomas, not the actor, the running back. And you know what? Huh?
Cool time.
Dual time, home improvement. This guy goes off and he has a monster year for me. And I was like, I am a god. I will look up upon. And he did so well that year, Tyler, that he ended up being the number one, like overall number one pick heading into last season. I mean, they still
like 24 years old. It was like 24 coming off of that season.
Yeah, I mean, he's a young dude. They still had a young offensive line. They had a new quarterback, but I mean, seriously, it was like you had Carson Wentz one year, then you had Matt Ryan. Like, doesn't matter. They're going to probably run the ball more, as run the ball a lot. Jonathan Taylor Thomas probably the biggest bust of this year. A lot of people probably picked him first. A lot of people were probably upset with that because this guy did not perform the way that everyone thought he was going to perform, the way he should have performed. He even dealt with injuries. He missed like his first like practice and games of his whole career, even in like high school. The one thing I'm kind of worried about now is that do they still have that offensive line? Do they even have a quarterback that can help them out?
Well, they still have Quentin. Yeah, they still have Quentin Nelson, but I mean, even he wasn't good last year. So
they do got a new head coach. They got the offensive coordinator from the Eagles, Shane Stitchen.
And that's what I was going to say, Jason. Leading my next point was, I think that they went with like, hey, I can fix your offensive line. You know how your offensive line was bad last year? Just look at our offensive line. Just wait. So I think that was probably the selling point for this dude.
Yeah.
And I could see that happening. Quentin Nelson, man, is like amazing. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
But I've liked Quentin Nelson since he was drafted, like, number whatever overall, like super high pick. And Jonathan Taylor, as far as next year, I think that he will. I would, if I can get him in the second round, I would. But as far as second round goes, I'm only getting Nick Chubb because I have to wait that long. So if you're early second round, if you can pick up Jonathan Taylor or maybe even late first, I don't know if I would do late first, but still, I think he'll have a bounce back season.
Okay, I'm glad that you actually said that because the Colts were 23rd in the league with 109 yards per game. They were 23rd. And if, earlier this episode, we did a NFC bounce back team player of the year. If we had to do an AFC player of the year, I would say a bounce back player of the year, I would say it was Jonathan Taylor because he did so bad last year.
I wouldn't.
He has nowhere to go except up. But I got to see who they get as their quarterback. I have to see who they get as their quarterback in the
Calvin Ridley, dude.
Well, I mean, he didn't even.
That's right.
That's a given. Of course, he could have one catch for 1 yard, and
I'm telling you, he's going to dominate this season.
I get that, but he didn't even play last year. There's no bounce back. He's going to just continue to dominate. I'm
No,
talking about
well,
someone
I'll agree with you. Technical difficulties.
someone who did bad, who's going to probably do better. I don't know. If that question came about, I'll probably look into it a little more. But Jonathan Taylor, as long as he stays healthy, and with a new head coach, with the selling point, hey, look at my offensive line. I did that. There's a good chance that Jonathan Taylor, I don't know if go back to his peak form, but do a lot better than what he did last year.
Ultimate form. So we're talking about offense still, Jason?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Isaiah, did we talk about Isaiah McKenzie yet?
No. 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 No.
So the Colts picked up a slot receiver, which I think is going to help out. Dude, who's even their quarterback? Oh, they're going to have to draft a quarterback. So it's like they got rid of Matt Ryan. They need a tight end, which they might draft a tight end super high. And but like I said, even TJ Hawkinson or whatever, unless you're Gronkowski, man, like it has not worked out your freshman years, your first year in the NFL, anyways. But you can guarantee, dude, Isaiah McKenzie's going to get a lot of targets next season with the rookie quarterback.
Yeah, because they also lost Paris Campbell. He went to the Giants, so that's going to open up some more targets for Isaiah McKenzie. 27. Who they got from the Bills. Um,
And they also have that white dude who caught a
oh,
lot of passes last year. He was on my waiver list.
Alec
Pierce.
Pierce. Yeah, he was a
Yeah, so
rookie.
he was actually pretty good.
He was a rookie. He was like their number 2. Isaiah McKenzie will likely go back to the slot. I do
Exactly.
like Isaiah McKenzie. I feel like in this type of offense, he could do really well. He can. Um, but then I'm kind of thinking back, like who was the slot receiver for the Eagles last year? That
For the Eagles,
Oh my gosh, yeah, because they
because
got the
they lost him to oh my god, dude, why can't I remember? Was he the guy that pulled on the NFL in the NFL in the Super Bowl?
no that's like their cornerback. I'm
Oh, you're
trying.
saying slot receiver.
Was their slot receiver last year?
Oh, so it's Donovan
Watkins.
Smith, and it was
It was Watkins. I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Watkins.
yeah, and he didn't get that much play.
So that kind of makes me think that there is a chance, and maybe he might do as well as we thought. At first glance, right? At first glance, he's a little bit more experienced. Also, are they drafting a rookie quarterback their first? I think they have like what, the 4th pick, the 3rd pick.
I think if they're gonna get anybody, it's gonna be Anthony Richardson, and
They have to.
yeah, and they'll because dude, how scary would it be for Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson to be in the same backfield? I think that's probably what they're thinking. If they can rebuild their offensive line,
Um,
Jalen Hurts esque, you know what I'm saying, Jason? Like, say this Anthony Richardson has a Jalen Hurts mindset, it's just a bigger Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts mindset is very rare.
see, I'm more thinking of Cam Newton, and
See,
I
people keep on. See, I'm like, dude, it's hard for me to compare him to Cam Newton because Cam Newton was almost quite literally the best college player of all time on a team with nobody but Nick Fairley on the other side, and that was on defense. This guy went to Florida with a ton of talent and still couldn't barely do anything.
yes, but Cam Newton, I think he started at Florida and then ended his college career in Auburn, so he had to go to a better team. Um, One thing about Cam Newton is that when he came out of college, he had the same struggles that Anthony Richard has, his inconsistency with passing the ball. This guy, this is like a whole other episode. Anyway, I don't want to get into it like way too much, but I do believe if they do get Anthony Richardson, even though I think that might not be the best fit, is that Anthony Richardson is going to get goal line touchdowns. He's going to get goal line touchdowns, which is going to take from said player, Jonathan Taylor. So I don't know. I guess we just gotta wait. See, honestly, you know what, dude? Rebuild. I don't know, man. It's so crazy because I was like, who I'd like to see to go to the Colts would be Hooker. Hendon Hooker go over there, but he's not going to play. There's a chance he might miss all of next year, so they would just have to just be a wash. I don't know. They
So
might have to get Anthony Richardson. Sorry, go on. What's up?
real fast, Deion Jackson, a player I loved, that re-signed, and he looks so talented, man. When you watch that full, but he's only 24 years old. He's gonna be the backup for we're gonna have to watch to see how Jonathan Taylor deals with injuries this season. Sounds weird. And then also they got rid of Stephon. Oh, no, wait, that's later. That's later. I saw one other thing. Damn it, dude. I was like going through these offensive players. I was like, oh man, there's something. Oh, dude, Matt Ryan was making. I just want to tell you. So they're not going to resign him, right? He was guaranteed $94.5 million. So that means he made $94.5 million for 1 year from the Colts.
Yeah, he's probably just like, yeah. I'll go over
That's so
there.
crazy, man.
I'll go over here and make some money real quick. I mean, on the offensive side, they also picked up Gardner Minshew as their backup. Do they feel comfortable starting him for a while if they're going to
I would
draft?
rather have him over Matt Ryan, dude.
I think I would too. I think Matt Ryan has seen better days.
And Matt Ryan's like, I'm tall. What else, dude? What else do you have, man? That's it.
Yeah, there's
So
some
he was.
there's some people who I'm going to compare Matt Ryan with coming up in a future episode.
Okay. So Jason's got a lot
Okay,
of Jason. Okay. Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Real interesting, dude. Now Jason's got his he's going over his draft, top prospects. We're getting our list ready. We're not rushing it because there's really no reason to overshoot the gun, overshoot whatever we're talking about. We're gonna have a draft episode coming up. And there's gonna be I'm pushing for tight ends and quarterbacks on one episode, and then wide receivers and running backs on the next.
Yeah, or
Do a special Monday episode.
it's going to be like a 3 hour long episode.
That's what I'm saying, dude. We should probably split it up and just do them.
Oh, we are definitely going to have to split that up.
Okay. All right, Jason. So, you see anything else as far as losing Isaiah McKenzie, Matt Ryan, or they're gaining Isaiah McKenzie, losing Matt Ryan.
Like I said, they lost Paris Campbell. Also on the line, they lost Matt Pryor, guard, who's in limbo, and Dennis Kelly, tackle, who's in limbo. But that being said, I'm ready to go to defense.
Stephon Gilmore, Jason, Cowboys fan. I know you loved it.
What did we get him for? Like a fifth round pick?
It's more about the cash. So you're paying, $10 million, which isn't bad, really. I mean, give him 33 years old. Unless you're Deion Sanders, I really don't want any. And he's never been known for his speed. So it's like, and that. I mean, he played 93% of snaps, so he's healthy.
Yeah.
I think it's smart of the Cowboys because they already have their star, in Diggs. So, like, I think it was a thing that helped both sides on this trade.
Yeah, the Colts get an additional 5th round pick, and the Cowboys get a number 2 cornerback who used to be an all-star of the league as a number 1. They don't need him to cover the big guys. Let Trayvon Diggs do that. So they got Gilmore as a number 2 cornerback. Even with his age, like you said, he was never really known for his speed. So, that's one of the first things that go when you get older. I'm okay with him being as a number 2. I really like it. I like that in Dan Quinn's defense.
Yeah. And I want to say that with their safety dude, Jason McLeod, 90% of snaps, 33 years old. We just talked about old safeties in our last short, with Jimmy Ward. But this dude's only making like 1.5 million a year. So like maybe once the season comes around, I can see them re-signing him because he has not been picked up. I mean, as of 4/14/23, he has not been picked up by any other team. So I could see him re-signing. And dude, yeah, Paris Campbell to the Giants. I don't think that was that big of a loss for them. I think it's more of a gain for the Giants.
Yeah. So the Colts last year, they were.
I'm going defense. God dang it.
You're fine. You're fine. The Colts last year, as number 11, they they were number 11 as passing yards per game. They only allowed
Whoa, that's what
209 yards a game, which it's pretty dang good. I like that. You're in the top half of it. But on the other side, what they got, Tyler? Bobby Okereke.
Dude, that was like, I was like, if you're looking at snaps played, I already talked about McLeod. He was 90%. And with Stephon Gilmore, 93%. And then now we have the African dudes. Okereke. Oh my, Bobby
Yeah, Bobby.
Okereke. He went to the Giants, 27 years old, dude. The Giants are giving $21 million guaranteed, $10 million a year for, like, you know, an edge rusher that you never heard of. That's what happens when you get a couple, dude, when you look good on a bad team. You know, he was probably like getting sacks even when they were, you know, written out of the playoffs and they're trying to tank. This dude was probably busting his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian Dayball's like, hey, I want this dude.
Yeah, and he's gonna make $40 million doing it. But that linebacker gone, Tyler. But you know what? They went out. The Colts went out and they got Samson Abukam.
Yeah, Abukam.
Abukam.
That other African dude.
Yeah, 27 defensive end from probably the number one defense in the league last year overall, the San Francisco 49ers.
And I have never heard a bad African name.
But I like this name, Tyler. You're always big on names, right? You have to resign this player no matter what.
Samson?
Linebacker EJ Speed.
I thought you were talking about Samson. I was like, no, don't cut my hair.
Oh, no. Oh, Samson. Oh, my God.
I was trying to do Arnold Schwarzenegger right there, but it came out like weird.
I know. So they re-signed EJ Speed as a linebacker. They got Taven Bryan, the defensive tackle from Cleveland, to help stop the run. They did focus a lot on the defensive side of the ball. And they also, they lost cornerback Brandon Faison. They lost him to the Raiders.
So, Jason, one thing, what position is pretty hot right now? What position is kind of hot, would you say, as far as free agency goes?
Defensive end.
I was thinking interior defensive lineman, man.
Okay.
I think that's becoming like the new ascending position that you need to have a dominant player. And they see Chris Jones. They see who else was in the man? Oh my God, I've been drinking so much.
Or the AFC South?
No. I'm just thinking, like, who was in the Super Bowl last season? It was holy crap.
The Chiefs and
so I was saying Chris Jones and who else?
Oh my gosh. Who was who did the Chiefs play? Oh, the Eagles.
Oh my God. Yeah, and then you saw the Eagles defensive lineman. It's all about interior defensive pressure now, you know. So, like, I'm just looking at these lists and I'm just thinking, man, I see IDL getting paid. You know, young IDLs, man, you're getting paid decent amount of money, you know.
Yeah, that okay. So also for the Titans, who's in the same division as the Indianapolis Colts, the Titans just re-signed their ultimate defensive tackle player, Jeffrey Simmons. That dude was a beast. So that's just going along to what you're saying is that, like, yeah, one of the positions on the offensive line is to stop that interior push. Stop
it's all about
me.
You know, like Rich Eisen says, dude, it's all about stopping the run on your way to the quarterback. And it's like, if you can do that, you're going to be, you know, dominant. And a lot of these teams with these players, that's what I'm saying. Like the Rams, man, they already have the recipe for the turnaround. It's just they just need to get their quarterback and their offense going in a consistent direction. So yeah, Jason, I think we went over that. You want to talk about their beat writers?
Yeah, go to the beat writers because the Colts didn't really. Yeah, they've had a quiet free agency.
Number one, quarterback. Goes without saying, dude. Matt Ryan, Nick Foles, Phillip Rivers.
Actually, I don't know if you remember, Tyler, but with Phillip Rivers, I think they went like 11-5 and won that division.
They did, and that was like, but Phillip Rivers was like, if you watch those games, man, it's like watching. That's how I feel when I'm picking weeds in my backyard, dude. It's like I'm gonna break myself if I don't flex my core.
Yeah, you could tell he was done. He was done. He's just like,
engage my core. My back's going out.
he's like, let's just give the ball to this rookie, Jonathan Taylor. Let's just give the ball to him, please.
And that was Jonathan Taylor's year where he was just killing it. So it was like
that was his rookie year.
Yeah. So there you go, dude. And so yeah, I mean, pretty obvious about that. Defensive end, Jason. So Yannick and Ngaku, whatever his name was. I think an Ngannou, which is a Francis Ngannou, which is UFC, which you don't know anything about, as a free agent. If he walks, so it's just like they just need a defensive end, dude, like we were talking about. So this guy's coming, the Eagles head coach is coming from a team that just had a dominant trenches, right? He thinks he can figure out the offensive line, but he's got to get together this defensive line that he thinks can dominate too. So I would think that he's going to go heavy defensive line, because I think that part of that selling job to the owner, Jim Irsay, was like, "I'll fix your offensive line." Remember how good it was?
Yeah. With you saying that, the Colts were 9th in the league last year. They were actually tied for 7th with 2.6 sacks per game. And as we know, who got who was number 1 in sacks per game last year? You just said it.
Dude, I'm so messed up right now. What'd I say?
The Eagles. The Eagles are number 1 last
Were
year.
they really?
Yeah, so now,
the number 1 offensive line, the number 1 defensive line.
Yep. So now, the Colts already had a good, sacks per game. So now I think they're going to try to stay up in that top half, right? Do what they need to do and get those defensive ends to stay up in that top half.
And man, just remember what's his name, dude? Freeney and God, dude, who were the two? Freeney and
man. It was Dwight Freeney,
Mathis,
Robert Mathis.
And they would both spin at the same time. It was crazy stuff, man.
That was good. Good callback, Tyler. Good job.
I'm just saying that Jim Irsay probably remembers this. He's playing his guitar. He's dropping acid. I remember Mathis and Freeney. We need some ourselves.
We need some ourselves.
He has no rhythm or good sounds coming out of his mouth. So,
but I'll listen to
accurate portrayal. That's like a short that I'll pick on a Thursday, Jace, on a Wednesday.
That's good. People want to hear your voice. They want to hear your singing voice.
That was my Jim Irsay. Do you remember when the Colts had a 5-head quarterback? Okay.
Little remix out of it.
Do you remember who the 5-head quarterback was, Jason?
Peyton Manning.
There you go.
He always had like a little red spot right here because that helmet was so tight. It was
these gosh darn helmets are busting my head.
Yamaha. Dude, his helmet was so tight it caused him neck problems, and he had to miss a whole season because he had to go get surgery.
It starts in my head and goes down to my neck.
I broke my neck, coach, because it's damn helmet.
All right, so defensive end, we talked about that. Offensive line. So they just want to bolster it. You can't blame them. Blame them.
Yeah.
They have an anchor in just get Quentin Nelson some
help.
I don't know, man. He just needs to get healthy again.
Some support.
Yeah, and get him some help and just get them back. I mean, it's like the Cowboys. You have Tyron Smith, man. You have a generational talent. Just get him some help, man. Just put 3 or 4 capable dudes around him and they'll turn them into all pros, because this guy's demanding so much attention. So it's that's who I'd compare it to, Jason. And when I say Tyron Smith, was his name Tyron Smith?
Yeah.
Woo! That's a short right there.
Left tackle, number 77 from USC. Yeah.
I'm about making these shorts. Jason, both shorts I had under 30 seconds were high views.
Yes, man. The shorter we can make them, the better.
That's what my wife says.
Honey, the shorter this lasts, the better. I guess I'm seeing
that works for me too.
All right, lay there, don't move, don't look at me.
Ah! For some reason, that reminded me of like Will Ferrell when he was like testing out beds with that chick on the interview.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, next up, wide receiver, Jason. This team needs wide receivers. I mean, they lost Paris Campbell. They signed whoever the hell that you were talking about earlier, Isaiah McKenzie. So like this was written before that, but they could still like they've got Michael Pittman Jr., who I can tell you I drafted last year. He is not like he's a good wide receiver, but he's not like Calvin, Calvin John. He's not like an AJ Brown. He's not like
yeah.
It's hard to explain, but I think he's more of a number 2. He's like a Keenan Allen, but with no Mike Williams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we thought we were going to see a big jump with Michael Pittman Jr.
I drafted him and it was god awful.
He couldn't get a lot of separations. He got the targets, but
Justin Jefferson or bust. Woo! All right. So what was that, Jason? Was this defense or offense?
Wide receivers, I think you said.
Oh, dang, we're going over needs. All right. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it, dude.
You're done with the beat writers?
Yeah, they don't need to know anything else.
Okay. All right. Then we got one more team to talk about, and it's a team with the number.
Who does number 2 work for?
Number 2 pick in the draft. And with that being said, we'll be right back to discuss the Houston Texans on Monday Night Raw.
Okay. What's up, people? We're about to go over the gold standard of the league here. The Houston Texans. Just kidding. Bill O'Brien was a joke. Then they got Lovie Smith in there. Kind of turned things around, but then they got rid of him in a year. Like he even blew. I think they got mad at him because he blew their whole plan to tank, and they won that one game against the Colts.
Yeah,
I mean that was a big deal apparently when I heard it on the radio. But Jason,
yeah,
they got D'Amico Ryans from the 49ers, and I think for this team that was a good hire.
Yeah, and their defensive coordinator, they also got Matt Burke from the Cardinals, who I believe it was just their defensive line coach. So he's going to be.
I was going to say like I don't really care. I was like, oh yeah, well the Cardinals had a good defense. Like that sounds like a terrible hire. But I would trust D'Amico Ryans over myself, so I would probably think that's a good hire.
For me, I don't put a lot of trust in struggling teams with defense of head coaches. Oh man, you know what? It's hard. It's really hard for me to like. I mean, who do you got? McDermott. McDermott went to the Bills, but they already had that like a pretty good.
I think it's good for like turnarounds of really terrible teams, but as far as like pushing a team over the edge, I don't think it's good.
Yeah, this is an offensive league. There's a reason why there's only like 5 defensive head coaches in the league. Lovie Smith, he was a defensive coach, and we saw what happened. But DeMeco Ryan, oh my God,
DeMeco
Ryans, he was a defense coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. He helped them to have like number 1 defense overall in the NFL. Now he's going to get the head coaching job with like the worst team possibly in the NFL. How much of a turnaround are they really going to have? There's a chance that they might do better than the Colts. I mean, I don't know. They have to go after a quarterback in this draft. Hopefully that quarterback really pans out. Whoever they get are the 2 options.
I believe that they're going to go for like. So D'Amico Ryans, I just was watching the herd today. He just sat there and watched the 49ers trade up for, Trey Lance, all these picks, blah, 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 and fail. And he watched Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant,
yeah.
Irrelevant, succeed. So now he's sitting here as a head coach. I do not think that he's going to spend the number 3 overall pick. What is it, Jason? Is it number 2 or number
I
3?
think it's number 2, right after Carolina.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to spend the number 2 overall pick on a quarterback. I think they're going to go maybe even Will Anderson, dude, or the defensive lineman that got caught, killing somebody when they was racing him. Vin Diesel's brother.
It's all about family.
It's all about family. Damn, dude, why can't I remember his name? I had him in my head for a long time.
Carter. Jalen
Carter.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter. So I think that they might go the Jalen Carter or Will Anderson route over, or they're going to trade down and get those players. So I think that's the way they're going to go.
I feel like that would be a big mistake if they did that. I feel like David Mills is not the quarterback to lead your team. And if they go that route, that's going. Oh man, that would be rough if they go that route. It's like who do I want to get from the Houston Texans? Right? There's a chance that I want to get Pierce, but if they're not going to give him any help, they have no wide receivers. The quarterback played like crap. Oh man, that would be tough. I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't do that.
What
I
do
hope
you
they
hope
get
they don't
Bryce
do?
Young.
You hope they actually draft a quarterback.
Yes, I hope they get Bryce Young.
And Bryce Young, man, I think is actually going to be really do pretty well because it's not like he processes information super fast. And Brock Purdy actually tested like the top of this. They have it's not like the Wonderlic test anymore. It's like the W2 or something. Oh, my dog found my beer can. If you can hear that.
Oh,
And anyways, the head of the class on that test was Bryce Young, and so like he knows how to throw over tall people, but the way that you process information, like Patrick Mahomes and stuff like that, is more important. So like if they can get Bryce Young, I think they should. If not, I think they should just wait and try to get in the lottery next year for the USC quarterback.
yeah. The only reason why I say Bryce Young is because I think Stroud's going to go first.
And what's funny, Jason, I was gonna say there's no pressure on D'Amico Ryans, right? Guess what, dude? What's the last head coach had 1 year, so if I was D'Amico Ryans, I wouldn't be feeling too comfortable.
Yeah, and I would help out this offensive side of the ball. That's what I would do. I mean, the whole team, Tyler, they were last in the run defense. Their pass defense was horrible. Their passing yards per game, they were 25th, only doing they weren't even reaching 200 yards. They got 196 yards per game. They did try to help a little bit, but also they got rid of their number one wide receiver, Brandon Cooks. He went to the Cowboys. They did get Robert Woods, who's 30 years old, from the Titans. Wide receiver Noah Brown, 27 from the Cowboys, which you and I both said that like he was likely going to go to another team because of his product this year, and the Cowboys weren't going to keep him. They also got rid of Jordan Atkins. He went to the Browns. O.J. Howard, he went to the Raiders. But they got Dalton Schultz, who was the best tight end in this draft. They got him for 1 year, $9 million. So they kind of helped opposite side. Oh, sorry, Tyler. Just to continue on, they also got running back Devin Singletary, 25 from the Bills, and Mike Boone, 27 from the Broncos. And their backup quarterback now is Casey Keenum, 35 from the Buffalo. So at first I was like, dude, maybe they won't go after a quarterback because they got Case Keenum as their backup. But then I looked, that dude is 35. I think there's a chance they might have 3 quarterbacks on the roster next year.
I like Davis Mills. His rookie year was great. Coming out of the draft, he was like a sleeper that really performed well, like people were going to say he was. And then last year was a huge regression. He just did terrible, and I think it was mostly offensive line. So they need to get their offensive line set. But I thought like it was pretty crazy, Jason. You just reminded me that they got which running back?
Devin Singletary.
Dude. So that I'm a huge Dameon Pierce guy. we were both last preseason, then we got him late.
Yep.
Me, you, and your dad. And I ended up getting him because I drafted him like a round early, which seemed like a bad idea, but it was great for half the season. And now he's got to deal with Singletary, which is terrible, man. I thought that stood out to me big time for one of their free agency moves, and I just think that's like a very negative towards Pierce, and like where I thought Pierce outperformed his ADP last year. Right now, where he's going in ESPN drafts, he's going to not perform it. He's going to underperform.
So I think Dameon Pierce is somebody that you could get in the later rounds. And this is what I'm seeing right now. Like Dameon Pierce in Florida, I believe he was a backup to another starting running back in the NFL, but I can't remember who it was. So he wasn't getting the ball 250 times in college, right? Then he comes to Houston Texans, who's already on a downfall of the season. They're feeding this guy the ball all the time, like here. He wasn't able to withstand all that carries. I think the last 4 weeks of the season, he went on IR, I believe. I think Devin Singletary is going to come over and like help, right? He's going to be like the Rex Burkhead, but probably get a lot more touches. It might go like 50-50, but also Tyler, Rex Burkhead is 32 years old and he's on free agency, and Royce Freeman, their other running back, he's on free agency. So right now it looks like the main two guys is going to be Devin Singletary and Devontae Pert. I can't think of his name. Pierce. For some reason I can't think of his first name. I know why. It's because it's delicious kombucha tea.
I was thinking, I was like, man, dude, Rex Burkhead looks like he's 45 years old and he's 32. I was like, I'd kill to be 32, but then 32 was the worst year of my life. So I was like, I remember that. I was like super depressed that year. I got my heart broken. If all you people out there with your heart broken, you know what I'm talking about. Go write a song and you'll make millions.
So what do you think, Tyler? You got Singletary, who has the potential to get the most carries that he's ever had in his career.
I mean, I still like Pierce. He's going to be. I think he's bigger. He's more talented. He's younger. But I just think he's a better Rex Burkhead. That's for sure. So it's like it just sucks. But that saying, like, they might want to run the ball a ton, So like, I think that Pierce could still perform up to his ADP, but I think the odds are against it.
When do you have him? When is he being drafted right now?
Dude, he's like drafted like
what round?
Third round or second round? I can't remember.
Oh, get him later than that. Oh my gosh, get him later than that.
I want to say third round because Chubb was second round.
Yeah. But Singletary's young too, man. He's only 25 years old.
I want to say maybe third round. God, dude, I've been doing so many draft picks, but I've been mock drafts, but I've been drinking. I've drank 6 beers pretty much, dude.
Back to the line, bro. Seats taken, dude. That's too early. Too early.
Something about my garage, man. Makes me want to just drink beers and throw them against the wall.
I do that. I don't want
my dogs are come in. They're like, "What's up?"
I also think like the Houston Texans are probably going to have to target more of a wide receiver since they lost Brandon Cooks. I mean, they got Robert Woods, who's already 30 years old. They're going to have to target. They're going to have to go offense. They're going to have to get a quarterback and a wide receiver in this draft. I believe that's what they have to do. Unless you're right, Tyler, that they're like, you know what? It's not about 2023. It's about 2024. Let's get Caleb next year from USC, and that would be our quarterback.
Yeah, and I think that D'Amico Ryan's job this year, I was listening to Colin Cowherd, was to establish a culture and to get the defense in order. And so, I mean, Laramie Tunsil, they re-signed, I think was amazing. $25 million a year, but Laramie Tunsil, ever since he's been hitting that, Mary Jane out of that gas mask, which I've done before.
Okay. We'll mute that out.
I've never done that ever in my life. Wait, why did I say that? Because you were wrong. I'm running for president in 2024, and this video shall be deleted. But yeah, dude. So Larry Tunsil, they got from Miami back in the day, and he's been great for everybody. He's protected. And do you hear this, Jason?
Yes, I do.
What was I talking? What
Oh,
was I?
oh, you were talking about something about a gas mask. You were talking about, I don't know, that guy.
So now we're going defense.
They don't got the number one defense, but to turn their defense around, D'Amico Ryans, yes.
I've already talked about the defensive ads.
No, we could go to the defensive side right now. I'm pretty sure
Man,
we're done with the offensive side.
we are done, or are you not sure we're done?
No, we're done because on the defensive side, they were last in the league, giving up 170 yards per game on the ground rushing.
Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to say. So then I was going to Jimmy Ward is like, yeah, like they're trying to re-sign these, like they're trying to sign these veterans or whatever to, like, put the attitude that D'Amico Ryan wants into the locker room pretty much. So they're locker room guys, locker room guys.
All
That's
right.
what we were talking about last time.
Yeah.
So it's
You're
like
kicking the slap butt.
I was wondering if you're like, do you care if I put that in there? Because I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Man?
You know, where you get the towel and you're like,
Well, I was thinking, you never watched Key and Peele, that slap butt one?
slap butt. No.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to send it. I'm gonna have to send it to you. It's hilarious.
All right, Tyler. So they were last in the league in rushing defense, and they were 10th in the league in passing offense or passing defense, where they gave up only 209 yards. But I tell you what, why are you going to pass against the Houston Texans when you could definitely run the ball against them? So that's what I believe. That's why they're a little bit higher in the league, the top 10 in the passing defense. So in this free agency, defensive end OG Bonilla Okaranko. I know I biffed that, so you might want to Google it.
Ogbania Okoronkwo.
He went to the Browns. They did get defensive tackle Shelton Rankins, 28, from the Jets. Defensive end Rasheem Green, he went to the Bears. Inside linebacker Denzel Harriman, who was actually he was a pretty good inside linebacker for the Raiders for a decent amount of time. He's 30. They got him from the
For
Raiders.
a good time, call.
For a good time, call Corey Littleton. Inside linebacker Corey Littleton, 29 from the Panthers. I like him as a inside linebacker. Of course, they got free safety Jimmy Ward, 31 from the San Francisco 49ers, who had one of the number one defenses last year. And last but not least, cornerback Tremon Smith. He left to the Broncos. So I believe this organization is pretty much in scrambles.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this is one of the bottom. It's one of the bottom divisions in the league. One of the bottom teams of the bottom division. So it's like, I mean, they have the They have the number 2 overall pick for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
They're lucky they have, their Laramie Tunsil, and they got rid of Brandon Cooks. It's just like, dude, I mean, what else is there? Like, and I mean, I'm trying to think of like a defensive head coach I'm trying to think of like what's his name? We just talked about Mike Vrabel. This could be like a Mike Vrabel situation where he takes over, starts building this defense with the minimum offense, and then kind of, at least competes with Mike Vrabel, which is not bad because Mike Vrabel makes, he's won Coach of the Year and that kind of stuff. So if D'Amico Ryans can get himself in that position to win Coach of the Year, that means that they're kind of at least one playoff game probably. I could see this team getting turned around by D'Amico Ryans. I think D'Amico Ryans was a good hire, but this team needs so much work, like what you said. Like, dude, they lost. Oh my god, dude, they lost so much. Like, it's like if you look at their free agency list, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's super long, and most of it's not to themselves. You know what I'm saying?
It just keeps going and going and going.
Why would you keep players that got you last place anyways?
Yeah.
So I understand that, and it's not like they should retain players, and the players they should retain, like the left tackle, they did. Shaquille Mason, I thought was interesting. They lost him to the or no, they got him from the Buccaneers. So it's like at least they're working on like I think it's part of D'Amico Ryan's. Like D'Amico Ryan's is not going to sign off on any of this stuff. He's working on. I think that he wants to work on the offensive and defensive line first because he came from the 49ers. So I think Shaquille Mason was a good signing for them.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes with Variable.
Yeah,
You know,
and that Sheldon Rankins. I think you talked about him as well.
yeah, from the Jets. Do you know what position D'Amico Ryan's played?
Linebacker.
Linebacker, just like our homie Mike.
And he played for the Texans with like alongside Brian Cushing when he bloodied his damn face up.
Yeah, from USC. Yeah, so I think there's a good, you could be similar to Mike from Tennessee. The one thing Mike has really leaned on is the running game. He's really focused on the running game. You could tell more than the passing game. But you also have Derrick Henry who could take that load. But Damian Pierce, we see his rookie year, he already had to get shut down for a while. Brings me a little bit of concern. Like I said,
so, Damian Pierce, so dude, he's got weak knees. You see his knees; they look like they're inverted.
I think they need to. I think they need to get Bryce Young. I think CJ Stroud is going to go number one, and I think they need to get Bryce Young because Bryce Young is more of a mobile quarterback, and with this offensive line, he's going to have to run a little bit more. And I think they could probably even get Anthony Richardson just because he's going to be a bigger back that who's going to run the ball like Cam Newton. I don't know.
So I differ from you though, Jason. I think that
Bryce Young's going first.
Yeah, that's the reports I've heard on all the stuff I listen to, which is every day.
So from the reports you heard, and then your own opinion, who should go number one?
I think Bryce Young. As much as I like CJ, I think CJ Stroud is like a Justin Herbert. As much as I like Justin Herbert, it's not like he's like a killer Kobe out there. Like I want a quarterback that's going to kill you, man. Like, hey, what's up, dude? And that's like I don't know.
Go back and watch the highlights of Ohio State against Georgia in the national championship.
No, and that's Justin Herbert. Like Justin Herbert in a Senior Bowl or whatever it was killed it.
I'm not talking about the Senior Bowl. I'm talking about.
Do you remember when Justin Herbert in the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, that's like the Pro Bowl.
And I'm serious, though, man. Like Justin Herbert's like a taller CJ Stroud, and that's a compliment, man. Like, say you're Justin Herbert, that's amazing. But I think that like Bryce Young has like he's all about processing information. Like I said, he scored higher in that test. He led this class in there. Damn it! Hey, stop it! My ear cans are making noise. And CJ Stroud, though, as far as like he's 6 foot, he's our height, dude, and throws a beautiful ball.
Oh my gosh!
And can run. So it's like, I think if he goes to the right place, but he's not going to go to the right place. Who is it? It's going to be either the Panthers or the Houston Texans.
He's going
great, dude.
I'd rather him go to Carolina Panthers.
Oh Frank Reich needs him. Yeah, like
you know what?
Coach.
This is not the episode, Tyler. This is not the episode.
No, I know. Okay, sorry.
We could discuss this.
Number one, Jason, Texans number one beat writer need, right? From thecron.com. Right. What do you know about thecron.com? I know about thecron.com. I don't know if you know.
They say thecron.com. It's cron.
Woo!
Chronological order.
Yeah. /sports /Texans, but we're not talking about that. All right. I saw thecron.com and I'm like, hey, that's my nickname in high school, dude.
You're like, did I Google the right thing here?
I'm kidding. When I was in high school, it was all about AOL dial-up messenger. Yeah, we didn't know anything about .coms yet. Okay, so number one, quarterback, obviously. Davis Mills, he had back issues, dude, all last year. I don't know if that carried him his whole career, but man, last year was terrible with it. You saw him his freshman year. His first year in the NFL, he was amazing. All D'Amico Ryan needs is a B- quarterback to get him to a Super Bowl if that's what he's used to. So I don't know. I really think they're going to try to draft a team around Davis Mills.
I think they have to go after a quarterback. I don't think Davis Mills is the answer.
You're wrong.
I had to lean back in my chair for that, man. Your voice.
There's no other opinions, dude. It's only the right opinion.
Your voice hit the airwaves and just punched me in the face right there, and I had to like.
Woo! See, this is why you tune in, because Jason and I disagree. We're not afraid to tell each other. But I thought that was funny to say that, like, no, you're wrong, man. There's no other opinion other than mine.
We normally just laugh afterward.
Jason didn't even laugh. He was like, he had the air taken out of him from the gut punch.
I couldn't laugh. I felt like I was going to die.
All right. Number 1 quarterback. Number 2 center. So the arrival of Mason helps solidify Texans' offensive line, but they had Quessenberry had the worst PFF grade of any regular offensive contributor in the Texans in 2022. So, I mean, their number one center was like the worst of all centers. So they need an offensive lineman, and coming from D'Amico Ryans is gonna be like, dude, I'm not messing around with this offensive line. Like, we're going heavy offensive line. We're going heavy defensive line.
Yeah. Defensive coaches are normally good defense and run the ball. So you're going to need a good defensive line to run that ball.
Run that ball, Jason. You said it. You said run that ball, and they're going to
especially against that Tennessee Titans. That's number 1 run defense in the league.
Woo! Linebacker. So 27-year-old Drew Tranquill will likely make more sense at multi-year deal. I saw Drew Tranquill and I was like, remember that, Jason?
Yeah.
No,
he did.
That's not Tranquill, man. That's that Tranquill. Oh, really? I got the video right here, dude.
What was it? Simpatico, man.
I was like, Tranquill, man. Simpatico. I'm all speaking Spanish, and you're like taking me like, I didn't even know who the hell Tranquill was. And you're like,
I got all defensive. Are you kidding me?
I know what I'm talking about.
On my mother's name, I find this highlight and show it to the public.
Take this highlight and shove it. All right, new Texans head coach. Okay, yeah, so we know he's a Pro Bowl linebacker, and in Houston, and helped Fred Warner evolve into a 2-time team Pro All-Pro. So he knows how to develop linebackers. We talked about this, Jason. They're getting linebackers. They got linebackers. That's the way they're going to go.
I'm sorry. Did they get Tranquill? Is that what you're telling me?
No, the beat writers wanted them to sign Tranquill.
Okay.
Who runs over fools if you didn't know?
Oh, he gets ran over. No, he
show him Jason's video, and they'll be like, I'm not signing. D'Amico's like, are you kidding me? I'm not signing this fool. Jason, the lucky bastard says that he sucks.
Yeah, look at Cordell Patterson, who's like 45 years old, just ran him over. No, Tranquill's good. Drew Tranquill is pretty good. He just, you know what? He had bad footing. Bad footing.
It's that turf, man.
That turf in Georgia, the humidity soaking it up and got the participation.
Participation.
Participate. Oh my God. Had the morning dew on it.
Oh my God.
Related water, and it made him slip backwards into the end zone.
Number 4, running back. So Damian Pierce, and we talked about before they signed Devin Singletary. So D'Amico Ryans came from the 49ers, who, depending on the day, has an amazing running back, performance. So I don't blame them for saying running back, and they're just kind of going off of D'Amico Ryans' experience with the 49ers. What are the 49ers like? They like defense and running back. So this is what they're kind of going off of.
Yeah, but they went out and got Devin Singletary and Mike Boone. So I think they probably answered that running back.
They got Mike Boone as well, huh?
Yeah, from the Broncos, 27 years old. So they got both of them. I feel like they probably answered the quarterback or the running back need.
Lastly, Jason, offensive tackle, like that Chinese sumo wrestler or Japanese sumo wrestler from Street Fighter. They're throwing up their hands at mind-numbing speed. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's just mind numbing. Nine.
It's a short right there. It's a short.
I know, mind numbing speed. Oh my gosh.
That's a 5-second short. We'll just put that shit
I
up.
know.
Put stuff up.
Oh, it just had me laughing about it. I can't even open up my eyes. Yeah, they got to fix the offensive line. So
Well, they had I think in the replacements, they at least signed one sumo wrestler. So we know that this exists in the real life.
was he the guy that caught the ball and he was like, "Holy crap!" and he like turned around and just had a run?
It is. I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Johnny, you talk about Johnny Utah all the time, man. There you go, Johnny Utah.
Johnny Utah, Point Break.
So offensive tackle, dude, Larry Tunsil, Tyrese Howard seeking a contract extensions. Other than that, they want everything. It's like this team is terrible, man. So it's like, yeah, they're not keeping everybody. They're not trying to re-sign anybody. They're trying to, and they have a new head coach. So it's not like they want all the same dudes. So
And a new defensive coordinator.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a turnaround for everybody. And that's pretty much it, Jason, for all that. Best of Cron. I can go the best of Cron.
Yeah, I think depending on the draft, there is a good chance that the Texans and the Colts might be wait. The Colts and the Titans might be battling for that second spot. Just because I believe like the Colts are a few players away from doing, 4 or 5 wins better, and the Titans are on the decline. That's what I believe.
Yeah, and like
we'll see what happens with this draft.
Yeah, and to say the Colts were like throwing a curveball to everybody, and they're like, "Oh, we got Quentin Nelson, we've got Leonard, whoever that linebacker is. That's amazing. Their middle linebacker is.
Yeah. I know.
And then they're like, "Oh, we'll get Will Anderson, and like a future Hall of Famer is what I've been heard him described as." And it's like they could just. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen in this draft. I mean, there's 2 quarterbacks that everybody loves. I've been hearing this, and it was Albert Breer today, Monday Morning Quarterback. And he was saying that people are overestimating the people's likes of the first 4 quarterbacks. People like the first 2 quarterbacks, but after that, dude, there's not much of a difference between, Hendon Hooker or this TCU's quarterback, who's a more athletic. He's a better Kirk Cousins. I can't remember who he is, but I hope the 49ers. Duggan. I talked about it from like 4 weeks ago. I hope the Minnesota Vikings draft Duggan.
I'm really curious to see where Hendon Hooker goes to. You know who? I'm not going to tell you yet.
The Raiders, dude. If he goes to the Raiders, I'll be pretty interested.
People are going to have to already kind of have like willing him to miss like 8 games of the season before he gets his first start.
Yeah, and well, he's coming off an injury, so it's like you don't want to throw him in. Like you want to kind of get him in some practices, some heated, matchups with the practice squad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Jason, I think that's it for the AFC South. How do you feel about that?
I think we're done. with this episode.
We
have one more. We have the NFC South next week, and then we're going right into a crazy week of the NFL draft preview.
And if you watch this, you are a super fan, and man, like if you ever want to hang out, just drive through. We'll hang out with you, even though we're in different towns. And my dog's going crazy now because of the ball into the kayak.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like we can't tell you how much we appreciate. I mean, we have 123 subscribers, and it's like it feels like we've got a huge crowd now.
Mm-hmm.
And like you look at other channels and they have thousands and whatever. But we're gonna try our hardest, to keep you guys going, to keep you guys subscribed, and
we'll get there.
We have fun doing this, and I know we're kind of messed up right now, but our more serious information will come soon when we're doing this on other days other than Fridays.
Right now, we're just killing time until like training camp or preseason.
Yeah, so we're just drinking. All you guys see is us drinking. So nobody's seeing this right now, but if you do, I'm sure you're well aware of this.
Right. We'll get to a point where we're not burping or drinking on the show.
And hey, also, if you're a super fan, tell me how you like the setup. With the whiteboard back here, the garage. I know the dogs are here right now, but it's because my wife let them out. I had them all in the house. But yeah, let us know. Give us feedback because we need that. Matt doesn't talk to us anymore, so we need feedback.
Yeah, and the feedback we're getting is just about how we're bullies, and then we get bullied. And it's like, okay, do you see yourself right now, hypocrite? Hypocrite.
Yeah. But also,
Tim Teeter, though, dude. Tim Teeter is a true fan. He stepped through and he said how it is. He is a solid fan of this, and he tells the truth. He tells the truth.
Oh man, we went long on the Texans, didn't we? Because I was all messed up. I'm so drunk.
Yeah, me too.
I drank all my beer. God dang it, dude.
Me too.
Ah!
I gotta go drink more. Then we're gonna play some Apex. Follow us on Twitch. Drinking behind controller. I'm good, Tyler. What about you?
Yeah, I'm good. So we're gonna be coming back with a draft episode. I don't know if this is gonna be next. Oh, we're gonna be coming back. We're gonna be coming back a day early next week because I got to go to my anniversary next weekend. And my dog's barking. I'm sorry.
We're gonna do the AFC NFC South, and that's the last of the divisions, and then we start the draft
All
previews.
right, guys. So thank you so much again. You are our friends, and don't forget that. And we will talk to you later. Catch you on the flip side.
We'll catch you on the flip side, on the dark side of the moon. When it doesn't rotate, it doesn't rotate.